Hello, hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome in. If you're watching live, hi, hello. If you're watching in the recap, hi, hello. I do want to take a moment before I start today's live stream to apologize for only being live on Monday last week and missing Thursday. I did announce on my community tab if you are not subscribed slash if you don't check my community tab, if I have updates on anything or announcements, whatever the case may be, I'll always post it on my community tab. And so shortly before my live stream on Thursday, I came on to commit to my community tab words. I came into my community tab on Thursday and I let you guys know that I was not feeling well on Thursday. So I decided to take the evening to rest and try to feel better. I was hoping, because I woke up not feeling the best, and then I was hoping by the end of the day for the stream that I would feel better. Hence why it was such late notice. But I was still not feeling good. I just needed some rest. So I did. And I also rested on Friday as well. And into Saturday because it was just feeling a little bit ill, but better now. We're better now. And also, I did notice, or I did note that my podcast, my first episode of my podcast is coming out onto this channel. So never fear. You can either catch here or on Spotify. But yeah, so I announced that it would be out on Saturday, but because I was feeling ill, I didn't get to as much editing of it that I was hoping to because I was resting. So it didn't go out on Saturday. I do apologize. The podcast will be out this week, though. We are back in action. We are going live today, obviously, and we will be going live again on Thursday. And the podcast will be out this week. And hopefully, a paranormal investigation will be out later this week as well. If not this week, next week. So, this week or next week, you'll have two videos, a podcast and investigation. And then the other week will be just the podcast episode. So that's kind of a little spiel, little shindig about where I was on Thursday. I am sorry. Your girl needed some rest. And also the delay on the podcast because it was supposed to be out last week. It's almost ready to go. The final touches for editing, and I didn't want to rush it or put out anything that I wasn't feeling good about, because I was feeling sick. So I just took a break from it, and then this week it will be going out. So stay tuned. I kind of like the idea of having it come out on Saturday, so I might wait till Saturday, but I also might spring up earlier this week and give you guys a weekday podcast, because whatever day I decide to upload it on will be the consistent schedule for the podcast. So I'm just playing around with that at this point while I finish up with editing, but you will for sure get a podcast this week. So oh, hi, Mary. Hello, hello. Hi, Hontorium. I am feeling better. Thank you, Mary. Hi, Randy. Yes. So you can find the podcast on my channel. So there will be a video version that you can listen to slash watch. So nothing changes there. How you guys are watching me right now on the live stream, you'll be able to watch the podcast right here on my channel. And subscribe and turn on your post notification bell so you can get notified as well. Additionally, you'll be able to listen on Spotify for sure by typing in the Hauntingly Krista show. That's what the podcast is called because I'm Hauntingly Krista. And yeah, so you'll be able to look it up on Spotify and Apple Music. I don't know if it's going to show right now. It is set up. I just don't have the episode uploaded, so I don't know if it will show up if you do search it on the audio platforms. However, I will make sure in the description box of the podcast video that you'll be able to watch on YouTube, I will link the Spotify, the Apple Music, whatever audio platforms it does end up going on. It's for sure going on Spotify. I just don't know which other ones it's going to. I listen on Spotify, so that's what I know I'm working with. But the other ones I'm gonna try as well. Um, they'll be linked in the description of the every video podcast there is, so you guys can also find it there. Um, and yeah, so that is a lot of rambling. Again, I'm so sorry that I missed last week. I cannot believe it's been a week since my last live stream, a week that since I posted, well, actually longer than that because I didn't post a video last week because I wasn't feeling well, and then the week before that was the Fort Willow investigation. If you haven't seen that with Paranormal XP, make sure to check out my most recent video on my channel and check that out. Check out Paranormal XP as well. Um, yeah. So it's been a while. It's been a while. It's only been a week, but it feels like too long. You guys know I felt so bad about having to cancel the live stream on Thursday. I was saying in my community tab post because it's my favorite day of the week. I love getting on here and talking with you guys. Health does come first, 100%. And like I want to be able to get on here and just like chit chat with you guys and feel my best. And not give you guys 100% of my energy because you deserve that. And I also deserve to give you guys my best too. So we're feeling good. We're feeling refreshed. And we're back in action with some spooky things. Um, lots of different spooky projects in the works in terms of paranormal investigations. I've had a few really cool emails come through for some paranormal investigations in the near future. So, um, yeah, and again, the Milton Town Hall, that was supposed to be out at the end of February as well, but I'm working with it's a collab video with Erica, eBaby here on YouTube, and so we still have to take some thumbnail, images, and I don't know if we're gonna do some filler together or what the vibe is there. We're still figuring that out, but Milton Town Hall video coming soon. I promise. Good evening, Orange. Okay, with all that being said, I already said this, but let us continue to the stories of tonight for the Haunting Hour live podcast or show with me. um, and today we're talking about haunted theaters. So I went on my little search, a little weekly search for different ghost stories and people's paranormal experiences in certain places. And this week I decided to do a deep dive into people's haunted experiences in haunted theaters. And I'm super excited. Fun fact, I used to work at a theater. It was a movie theater. And I wasn't sure if it was haunted or not, to be honest, but I was there. I had to be there late some nights. And I don't know if it's just the ambiance or what. It was not well, I was gonna say it's not an old theater. It's definitely not it's not a new theater, but it's not like, these old historical theaters that all these plays happened in and things like it was a movie theater, right? So the thing about that theater though is it had like this weird vibe, especially at night. And there was like, I remember things have changed in and out. It went through a lot of different renovations, but when I worked there, there was a side concession stand that they had blocked off. And like, I mean, as employees, like we would just kind of walk around and like do our thing. And sometimes we would like hang out in like that little back room that was an old concession stand. Literal backroom vibes. So creepy. But um I always remember just having a weird vibe in there, specifically at night. And that's what got me thinking. I know that there's haunted theaters out there, specifically like stage theaters, but I wanted to know if there was any haunted movie theaters. So I have a few of those stories for you guys today. That is what we're talking about. So let's dive into these stories from these people who have had real paranormal experiences in different haunted theaters. Some of them are longer stories, some of them are shorter, but all creepy nonetheless. So this one is just titled, I Used to Work in a Haunted Theater. So it goes like this. This was a small town theater about 60 miles outside of London, England. The theater was built in the 1980s and tacked on to a lovely big 15th century mansion, which had been turned into an arts center. I worked there for about 2 years in my early 20s in the theater itself and also in the offices in the main building. However, I'd been involved with the center through my teens, youth theater, music lessons, etc. So this is split into stories I had heard about the place before, as well as stuff that happened to me. Stories I heard. Some of these are fairly dramatic, so I'm not sure how bullshitty they are, but they're these. Apparently, while closing up one night, one of the guards got into the elevator going down to the ground floor in the main building. He lit a sneaky cigarette in there, and as soon as he did, the lights went out. The lift stopped, and someone whispered, "You're burning me," in the guard's ear. The story goes that the doors then opened on the ground floor, and the guard fled and never returned. Interestingly, there used to be a nursery on the third floor when it was a residential building. There was a fire at some point, and I believe some children died. Heard this from about 3 people, never verified historically, though. The second story that they heard. My friend saw a lady in a full Regency dress outside the ballroom. My friend looked away and looked back an instant later, and the lady was gone. Third story. The taps in the woman's bathroom in the main building would come on automatically, although I never witnessed it. 4, this was the weirdest one. At least 4 people swore blind to me that this had happened, and more senior staff just wouldn't talk about it if I asked. In the main building, there was a sweeping staircase. One day, a year before I started, a staff member noticed a weird rotting smell on one of these steps. Around this time, visiting members of the public started complaining to the front desk about seeing actors in costume wandering around the building and grounds, but anyone in costume was always confined to the green room. Meanwhile, the strange smell spread to other steps until it seemed it was coming from a wall by the staircase. And bear with me, because I'm just reporting what I was told it was in the shape of a door. I'm not sure how this escalated exactly. I think the actors in costume thing was getting a bit out of hand, quote unquote, actors in costume, and apparently a priest was called. Here it starts to sound a bit suspect because he proclaimed that the smell signified a portal to somewhere else, and um, the center was open 364 days a year. It was closed for 3 days so he could exorcise it. Therefore, all weird smells and activity, according to the accounts I was told, ceased. Now, this is their experience, like their own personal experience of the person telling the story. I was working backstage during a youth show, and one of my jobs was to usher about 12 child actors onto a platform on stage in time for an upcoming scene. I had about 5 minutes to do this in the dark while the audience's attention was drawn to some action taking place under a spotlight in the preceding scene. Sorry to spoil any theatrical magic here. The kids had to walk across a backstage platform about 20 feet from the ground and then go through a plywood door onto the stage. On this night, we were halfway through the show's run, so had done this dozens of times before, including once that day. So the kids walked across the platform, went to open the door, and couldn't. It was locked. Now, this was a makeshift door with no handle or a latch, just a lock and key. The only person with the key was the duty manager, who I had seen unlock the door earlier that day. Also, suddenly, the door was rock hard when I pushed against it. Normally, because it was plywood, it gave at the top and bottom, even when locked. Whatever, I was running out of time, so I figured the duty manager must somehow have relocked the door. I radioed the front desk, who said he'd been working the projector in the cinema for the past 2 hours, but they'd sent him right over. I waited for a minute, knowing it would take the DM at least 5 minutes to get there, when the door just swung open in front of me. He had so little time left that I didn't allow myself to think that the narrowness of the platform setup meant that I should have been able to see whoever opened the door, and just assumed it was the DM that got there super quick. The show went on as normal, but afterwards I talked to the DM, who told me that not only had he not randomly locked the door before the show, but he also hadn't come to unlock it because he had been too busy. And that's my experience. Edit. So this was added in after the original post was made. To clarify, the portal on the stairs thing, basically, you could detect the rotting smell on like 3 or 4 steps to a certain height. but not above that height or on any of the other steps, and people thought it was in the shape of a door. Not sure what denomination the priest belonged to, but I was told he said the smell was from a portal to somewhere else, and I wish I knew more. It was some years ago now. So that's all we have in terms of clarification for those two tidbits. But that's the story. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome in. Hi, Mike. Welcome in. Yeah, super creepy. Hold on. I'm going to just adjust this before we get onto the next story because I am sitting cross-legged on this couch right now and my feet are going to sleep. Also, I'm wearing Christmas pajamas. You wouldn't know that unless I showed you because I'm just wearing a regular sweater on top. But something about cozy Christmas pajamas. I just love it. Whoop, there we go. I have to fix this next time because for some reason the corners are now showing a lot more than they were before. Anyways, behind the scenes, moving on to the second story. This is just called The Haunted Theater. So, goes like this. Previous movie theater employee here with a story to tell. Love it. We had a haunted theater. Yeah, I know it sounds weird. At one point, it was Theater 21. After a renovation, it became Theater 14, but it was always the same room. This place would just eat everything: wallets, umbrellas, snacks, ponchos, purses, freaking everything. To be frank, this place was haunted before I worked there. Me and my family had gone into this theater during the holiday season to see Aragon when I was younger. $250 worth of gift cards my brother had received as Christmas gifts went missing after that screening. Anyways, I typically worked box office. On the very rare occasion that I was an usher, we had to clean this place after every show. I always put my hand on my pocket while I was cleaning Theater 14. My cell phone was in there, and this place had taken cell phones from our pockets before. At least 2 coworkers had entered to clean and exited without their phones. We checked everywhere for their missing stuff. We would turn on the house lights, look between chair cushions, check the floor, the lost and found box, nothing. You must be thinking, it must be a thief. But this was a theater that leaving films were shown in. This was a theater that leaving films were shown in. We were lucky if there were 3 people in this place, much less 10. But it didn't explain the missing cell phones. The most heartbreaking case, a little kid had just moved to our area from New York. His previous place had experienced a house fire, and one of the few items that he still had from the original house was his favorite blanket. Well, guess what? The jerk theater thief decided to steal. This little kid was completely unconsolable. We looked everywhere for the blanket, and he left my place of work crying, absolutely heartbroken. To this day, I still don't know what happened to all the stolen stuff. I have no clue if there's a hidden dimension, portal, or black hole in there. It was only the one particular showroom that would have so many continuous problems, and the thing remains a mystery. And you know what? It's yeah, little PJs. They have the little buffalo, Canada buffalo bears and moose on them. But super comfy. That is so weird, isn't it? So this story in particular, it's got me thinking about, like, I don't know. Okay, there's one movie I used to watch all the time. I still watch it during the Halloween season. But obviously I grew up watching different Disney Channel Halloween movies like Halloween Town and things like that. And in the second Halloween Town, Calabar's Revenge, if anybody knows, they end up in this. So Halloween Town is obviously like a place of, this is all obviously a fictional story, but Halloween Town is a place where, like, there's all these different Halloween creatures, so goblins and ghouls and ghosts and vampires and witches and all this stuff. Like, all of them walk around Halloween Town, and it's just another, like, magical dimension. 2 different, like, the mortal world and then this world, right? And in this movie, there's a place that's, like, owned by a goblin. I don't really know what he's supposed to be, like an ogre, I don't know. But he lives in, like, this little mound. And his whole thing is that when things in the mortal world go missing, they end up in this goblin's house. And so his house is just a mess, and he like his whole shtick in the movie is like, I love my mess. This is my I like it when it's messy, like they were trying to clean up, and he's like, no, absolutely not, kind of thing, right? Um, that's just the shtick of this character and this plot of the movie. And anyways, so this story kind of made me think of that. It's like, I don't know if it's necessarily obviously a goblin that has like all these different items just show up in their house because that's where like all the lost things go, is this goblin's house in Halloween Town. So obviously I don't think it's that, but it's got me questioning if there's something, some sort of like other dimension where things might just like poof to. It's like that sock in your washer. That's like, where did it go? I want to go there. Me too. Halloween all year round. That is the vibes. And Christmas. Christmas during November, December, but every other time of the year, Halloween. So do I? I think I have more Halloween decorations than Christmas. I definitely do as well. Me 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. I agree. Halloween is the best. And like I used to watch Halloween Town, like I think there's 4 of them. I know there's 4 of them. What I don't know why I said I think. There's 4 of the movies in the Halloween Town series, and I used to watch them all year round when I was growing up. Now there's just so many things to watch now that I usually just watch them around Halloween season. But I will always, 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 no matter what time of year, watch Hocus Pocus. I love Hocus Pocus. It is my favorite movie of all time. I was a film student, and I remember there was a bunch of different projects we had to do, and people would always be like, "Oh, like, what's your favorite movie?" People are like, "Oh, Pulp Fiction," and I don't know, there's the movie about the train, Grand Budapest Hotel, something like that. I don't know. I haven't even watched it. There's so many like good movies out there that are like cinematic masterpieces, and people are like, "What's your favorite movie?" And I'm like, "Hocus Pocus." Still is. I will watch that movie all year round. It is iconic. And it's also so much nostalgia. Um, but it is the best, the best. And also, I don't know, this might be a hot take. Maybe it's just my love for Hocus Pocus. But I actually didn't mind the second movie. It's obviously not the first. And I think going into any movie and then their sequel, I think it's just an automatic assumption that it's not going to be as good as the original. But the second one I actually really, really liked for the fact that it was a remake like 20 something 30 years later. It's good. And maybe it's good because obviously the Sanderson sisters are in it again. So I don't know, Warren, you're with me there. It's a good movie. It's for especially because it was made again like 30 years after the original, or almost 30, and so much has changed. And obviously, you don't have all the original characters in it, but the fact that you have the Sanderson sisters, I think that was the biggest key thing that they did that made the sequel as good as it is, in my opinion. OMG never saw Hocus Pocus. It's now added to my list. It should be, Randy. It should be Hocus Pocus, Hocus Pocus 2. It's funny. I actually, one of my best friends, she hadn't watched Hocus Pocus, and I'd always rave to her about it. I'm like, it's my favorite movie. She knew it was my favorite movie. So she watched it a couple of years ago for the very first time. And she's like, I mean, it's okay. I think it's a movie that you might have to grow up with. Watch it, Randy. Let me know what you think of it. It's just like it's a Disney. I think it's Disney. I don't know. It has some wild. What is the word? Um, oh God, the words escape me. Like the jokes and stuff are kind of wild for like a kids movie, but I feel like at the time it was trying to appeal to maybe more adults at the same time, like or adults watching it with kids. I don't know. There's some hidden innuendos, that's the word, in there. But it's a good movie in my opinion. Of course. But let's move on to the next stories. The next we have a couple like longer ones, but they're all pretty short from here on out. So, Let's dive in. So this one comes from someone, and they said, I've worked at a couple different theaters now, and 2 out of 4 of them have had a theater that a lot of the staff said was haunted or had a ghost in it. There wasn't really usually a story with them, just that there was a woman who sat in the seats or a man who would mess with the lighting and emergency door sensors. And that's that story. And that's interesting. It makes me wonder that obviously there's those weird things happening and people have like seen the woman or seen the man or whatever, but it makes me wonder why no one's done a little bit more like research, because clearly there's something going on. You're talking about this theater being haunted. Maybe it's time to dive into what was there before, if there was any deaths at the theater when it was a theater prior to you working there. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Bette Midler. I mean, come on, Bette Midler and her singing in the movies. Warrench, you get it. You get it. She's just legendary. Sarah Jessica Parker too. Love her. And was it Kathy Najimy? Every time I want to call her Mary, but that's her character name. I'm pretty sure it's Kathy Najimy, right? Not Mary. Yeah, I think it is. I should know this. Kathy, yes. There we go. But yeah, so the next story, we have a man with boots in one of the women's restrooms in our theater. One day, a lady came out complaining that a man was in one of the stalls and that she could see his boots. So we had a police officer there that day. So him and the general manager went in to check it out. They find nothing. A couple hours go by, and another lady comes out reporting that the same man with the same boots is in a stall again. They go check and nothing. Might not be a ghost, but strange. Now, yeah, that could either be one of two things. That could either be there is a creepy man that is hiding in the stalls, but also if I'm assuming that if this general manager and the officer that's on site is there and they're going in to check the women's washroom, they're not just like, "Hi, is anyone in there?" and like looking maybe under the to see if there's like feet there and then just like walking out. I'm sure that they're doing like a thorough like knock opening stalls if they're open, if they're closed, waiting and seeing who is in there kind of thing. That's what I would hope anyways, because if there's like a man being creepy in a woman's washroom, just like hanging out in the stalls, we might want to be checking that out. So, yeah, I would assume that they're doing their job properly, but obviously I don't know. One can hope. One could hope. That is a very creepy story, though. That's for sure. The next story. We had a kid that sat down in one of our theaters when a manager was test screening movies. This was before recliners, so the seats were folded up and you had to sit on them for them to go down. Manager sees a kid in a theater at 3 a.m., goes to check where the kid sat down, and the kid is gone, but the seat is still propped down like someone is sitting there. We also have a theater that randomly has knocking sounds from the back door that leads to an empty hallway with an exit. That's creepy. Actually, with that, I think there's how many more stories do I have here? 6, 7, 8. There's 3 more stories here from other people. But with that, that reminds me of my own personal story with a haunted theater that okay. I know I mentioned at the very beginning I used to work in a movie theater. It was just creepy vibes. Don't know if it was haunted. Probably not. Just creepy, especially at night when you're like closing and stuff. But I did forget that I do have a paranormal experience in a haunted theater, but my main experience with it happened on the outside. I'll explain. So, I've talked about this before a few times, like on different things and all that. So, if you've heard the story before, I do apologize. But it is honestly one of the creepiest things that I've experienced. It is also one of the experiences that really solidified the paranormal for me. It was one of my first major paranormal experiences. I had had paranormal experiences, obviously, growing up in a haunted house. I experienced things, but this particular experience was it happened with my dad. So he also experienced it too. So there was immediate validation from someone else there. Um, but on top of that, it was just Really creepy. So let me explain. So my dad and I was probably around I wish I knew. I wanna say around, like, 9 or 10 years old, and we were driving downtown, Oakville. If anyone is familiar with Oakville, Ontario, Canada, it's like a 30-minute drive from Toronto, west. It's, like, along the shoreline, and we're driving downtown Oakville, and the reason I am specifying the area is because this theater is haunted. You can look it up. You can look it up. It was in Ghost Trackers, which if you are a kid in the 90s or even like a teen in the 90s, you probably are familiar with the show Ghost Trackers. It was a show for like ghost hunting children. I always wanted to be on it. I was terrified. I applied once and I was crapping my pants when I applied because I was like, "Oh my god, please don't pick me, but also pick me," because I was really, really, really young. It was and I was it's for like, the kids are picked. The kids go into these haunted places alone. Like, I think that the max age you could be was, like, 13. That's probably too old. It was probably, like, 12. Um, so I might have been, like, 8 or 9 at the time that I was, like, wanting to apply. I don't remember exactly. Forgive me. But ghost hunting show for kids. For a Canadian show, and they would go to different haunted locations across Canada or Ontario, regardless. There was a couple locations in Oakville, actually. There was, the Archless Estate, which is downtown Oakville by the lake, and then there was this theater that they also did as well, and that's how I discovered that this place was haunted. I'm pretty sure it was Ghost Trackers. I don't know what other show it would be, but it was definitely if it's not Ghost Trackers, it was another Canadian ghost hunting show, but I'm pretty sure it was Ghost Trackers. Either way, I digress. Ghost hunting show goes into this haunted theater in downtown Oakville. At the time that this happened, I had not seen this episode. I did not know that this place was haunted. It was not even a thought, okay? My dad and I are just driving downtown. We're going somewhere. I don't even know. We're not anything to do with the paranormal. So we're driving. He's driving. I'm in the passenger seat. Way too young to be in the passenger seat, but I digress. um, we're going along, and so we are heading. Okay, so you know how like if you're coming up to like a traffic light, there's two lanes and they're going one direction. There's two lanes that are coming the other direction. So we are in the far lane. We're going, I believe it's northbound. I don't know. I'm not good with north, east, west, south. Okay, let me describe this a little bit better. Okay, theater. The theater is on. It's not just a theater. It's a library too, a public library. So it's on the corner of this intersection. So obviously you can drive by it, and when you're driving directly by it, you're oh god, how do I describe this? I'm gonna Google stuff. Hold on. I need to show you guys my screen so you guys have a better depiction of what's going on here. Okay. Is this the right maps? Hold, please. Um da, 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 da. Is this correct? Hold on. I'm figuring things out, guys. Where are you? Theater. Aha. Okay. 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 We got it, guys. Okay, I'm gonna go over here. There we go. Actually, can I see exactly where it was from here? No, wait, that's not right. As you guys are watching me struggle. Oh my god, I'm on the wrong side. I was like, where is the freaking okay. I promise this will make a lot more sense in a sec. Okay. So, let me go. Exactly. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Mike. You are both correct. Ghost Trackers, YTV, 2005 to 2008. So I was 10, to 13 when the show was airing. Okay, so maybe I was closer to 13 when I was applying for it. This experience happened before. It either happened in 2005 or before 2005 if I was 10 in 2005. Okay, I digress. Let me share my screen here. Sharing screen. So, this is a road. This is Lakeshore Road. And this is the theater and library behind these trees. Okay. So my dad and I, we're driving along. Da 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 da. This is us, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're probably about right here, going this direction, right? And as we are going this way, both of us, my dad included, who is driving, mind you, we both have the urge to look to our left. So we look. Now we're looking over here. I might be a little, yeah, okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm a little bit too far. Where are you? There we go. Okay, so we were probably legitimately exactly in this spot right here. So we both turn our heads, we snap and look to the left. Now right here, where this like pillar is, this is the staircase that goes down. We saw something here, a person, no, there was no color to them. It was just like a shadow, but we thought it was a person. They're about here and they drop like, right? So we see them from about here to there, and scream. Okay. They are screaming bloody murder. Oh, you can't see the screen? Oh no. Hold on. I can't see the screen. Lost your screen. Cannot see you. You can see me. Could you see what I was showing you guys before? Could you see the map? Just came on. The map just came on? Strange. Black screen. No. It was black, then it came on just a moment ago. So are you guys seeing the map right now, or are you seeing me? Your ghost didn't want us to see. Clearly, that's so weird. I've showed you guys, we did the whole Dear David live stream a few weeks ago, and I shared my screen a bunch of times on here with you guys. Yes, seeing you. Mike's not seeing me. Or he means, no, we're seeing you. Anyways, most of you are seeing me right now. I turned off the share screen. That's very strange. Okay. Okay, let's try one more time. If it doesn't show, okay, here we have Lakeshore Road East Fair. It shows me I'm sharing this tab. What are you guys seeing? Can you see a map? Can you see a map, or can you see Street View? And can you see me in the corner? Yes, you can. Okay. Okay, perfect. So what you are seeing here, I'm going to turn back over this way and zoom out. So can you see that? Okay, perfect. So what we're looking at right now, this is where my dad and I were on the road and where we were driving. And obviously my dad's behind the wheel, so he's looking forward. But we both had the compulsion, if that's, I always say that word. I don't know if that's the correct word. We both had like this urge to both look at the exact same time. So we both were looking straight ahead, and we both turned our heads to the left really fast at the same time. And when we did that, we're now looking at this, right? Okay, I'll zoom in. Sorry, I'm repeating myself because I want to make sure that what I shared. Oh my god, I'm probably making you guys dizzy. Want to zoom in? Okay, hello, hi. You know where that is? Yeah, it's pretty popular spot. Like it's like right in the center of downtown Oakville, so people are coming and going all the time. It wasn't super busy this night. It was like dusk. It was evening-ish, like streetlights were coming on. But it wasn't completely dark. I don't even know where we were going to or coming from, to be honest, but here we are. So we're at this point, we are here and we're both looking to the left. And this is all happening very, very quick, mind you. Okay. Now, can you see my mouse when I'm doing this? Let me know if you saw my mouse at all when I was on the screen. I stopped now. You did. Okay, cool. So, right about here. So, this is a staircase. You see like a little railing right beyond the garden, and then there's a cement wall and it goes down. It's like an outdoor staircase. Okay. So, right above it, my dad and I see this black figure. Um, and it drops, goes like boop. We see it drop, and then obviously it goes below, so we can't see it anymore. But when it was dropping, it screamed bloody murder. It was my dad and I talk about it to this day because it like we can hear that scream in our heads so clearly. It was the most blood curdling scream I've ever heard in my life. My dad as well. And we're as soon as that happened, we both look at each other. We're like, again, this is happening so quick. Like something just dropped, right? That's like 0.2 of a second. I don't know times and distances, but you guys get my point. Okay. So we see that. My dad goes along here. Obviously, now we're at the intersection, makes a U turn. Okay. Well, I'm on the wrong side of the road, but you get it. We're on this side of the road now. And he pulls over right there. Oops. Didn't mean to click. Pulls over right there. He pulls over. Whoops. My goodness. And now we are parked right here. Okay. He hops out of the car because I'm a kid. I was like, I don't want to see what just happened because there's probably gonna be blood. Because that's a cement staircase. It's outside. If you go there, you can see it. Like, and there's a few different landings. I wish I could show you guys here, but obviously Street View doesn't take me off of the road. But it's like there's the cement staircase, there's a landing, and then there's another bit landing, and it goes down a couple of different landings like that until it reaches the bottom and it's an open parking lot. Okay. So dad hops out. He goes over there to go check on this person who fell and is obviously hurt because that was almost a 90-degree drop. And they screamed so loud, like they obviously were not intending to scream. My dad thought it was like someone skateboarding, which would make sense because if you guys see this, like this, the top of that railing is probably like I'm 5'8", 5'9" now. So if I was standing there right now, it probably would go up to like my hip. I don't know. But this is tall. This is a tall ledge. And something whatever was here above the staircase, uh like I guess they could in theory be skating down the cement part, but it would make more sense. There's a few different railings. It would make more sense if they were skating down the railing, if that's what they were doing. But they were like hovering like above the this cement block. if that makes sense. Um, Anyways, so my dad thought I was a skateboarder, gets out to go help this person who fell. Um, Takes us like no, I was gonna say 0.2 seconds, probably a little longer. A minute maybe to do the whole U-turn and get to where we are. Um, and for him to hop out and like rush over there. So he hops out, I'm just waiting in the car, and then he comes over to me and he's like, "No one's there." And I was like, "What?" So confused. I then hop out of the car because I'm so curious. Obviously, there was someone right there. We both just saw them. And so I go over with him and I see there's no one in sight. And even if that was a person, whether it's a skateboarder or a person that was on foot and like, I don't know, maybe they were standing on that thing, I don't know. And then they fell. That is a very far and hard drop. If someone did fall down that staircase, they would not just get up from that fall and walk away. If they did, they definitely would not be running away, and we would see them when we got to there, because you have to go down all those landings of the staircase and then the big open parking lot. There was no one in sight. There was, like, I think there might have been 1 car in the parking lot, maybe 2, I don't know. It was pretty much an empty parking lot. Um, it was empty. I made an it's funny you say that, Randy. I did make a video with, about this story with my dad at this location, kinda near the beginning, before I was on TikTok when I had my YouTube channel. I wonder if I have it privated on this channel. I may. Um, but we actually went to this location and we talked about the experience while we were here. So if I do actually still have that footage, maybe I'll re-upload it, because it was definitely an interesting story and it was cool to have us both be back there. Um, but if I don't have the footage, maybe I'll remake maybe I'll remake the video with him. But yeah. So crazy thing about this story, right? Obviously, you see here it's the Oakville Center for Performing Arts. It's a performing arts theater, also a library. Um, I don't know if it has other community, like I don't know if there's a pool or anything like that, but library for sure, theater obviously. Okay. So, we go on about our life. I'm gonna stop sharing and then just pop back here. Um, we go on about our life, whatever, we think that's so strange. We actually did talk about it being like, was that a ghost? But like, not super seriously. We're just like, what the heck? Like, where did this person just disappear to? It just didn't make any sense logistically at all. And if you've been to this location, you would know that there's just no way. They are really creepy, that's for sure. But we go on, ghost trackers. I see that episode where they're at the Oakville Center for Performing Arts. And then I'm like, "Oh, shoot, like this theater is haunted." I had no idea. And then they're going through and they're talking about how this theater was built on an ancient burial ground. And it's haunted by a little girl named Alice. And people have seen her in the theater. People have seen her manifest as shadows. And at that moment, and I remember I went and I go to tell my dad, I'm like, "Do you remember that like when we drove by the theater and we saw that thing drop?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "That theater's haunted." And we're both like, crazy. Because again, we validated each other. We're like, "That's validated." The words. We validated each other with that experience because we're like, "That's so strange. Like, what the heck was that?" Had no idea this place was haunted. Then later on, we find out this place is haunted. And there's a very big reason why it's haunted. And there's a actual spirit that is seen and they named her because she's so frequently there. Um Crazy. And yeah, so my dad and I will talk about that all the time. We'll always reference it. We'll always reference the scream because it was literally the most terrifying thing ever. And that's why I always say, like, that is my pivotal experience with the paranormal. To if that's the I don't know, is it the best way to say it? Pivotal? I don't know. It's like that was the moment with the paranormal where I was like, this is yeah, this is legit. Like, I'm not just because obviously when I was having all these experiences in my house and I'm like, are ghosts real? Like these things are like showing themselves to me, they're talking to me, all this stuff. But I'm like, okay, like I'm scared of them, first of all, because I'm so young. And second of all, I'm like, is this actually happening? Because it was never anything super crazy. We'll get into that in my podcast episode because I taught that my first podcast episode is about all my childhood experiences. I go into a little bit of depth with this story too and that. So you'll kind of get to walk through that with me this week. um, that's what I'm thinking, Mary. I think my dad and I both think it was Alice screaming. Um, and it again, my dad thought it was a skateboarder just because of the way that it moved. We're like, "Oh, it makes no sense for it to be up that high and, like, that fast." But it sound well, I mean, a skateboarder could be a girl too, but it sounded like a girl, screaming, and also, like, the way that the figure moved, like, I thought I saw, like, long hair, like, kind of following behind it as it was dropping. That makes any sense? Like, in the wind, like, "Whoa." Again, could also be a skateboarder. Skateboarders could have long hair, they could be girls, but I digress. It just wasn't giving skateboarder. The only reason we were thinking skateboarder initially was because of that was the only thing that, like, logistically made sense in the terms of, like, where it was and how it moved. But again, if that was a skateboarder, that was a hard fall and not they would be there. Like, we would see something. There was nothing. We would see signs of something. We'd see blood on the ground. I don't know. It just it didn't make sense. Anyways, it made more sense when we realized that the place was haunted and people had seen this Alice spirit. Um, and we're like, "Ah," yeah, I truly wholeheartedly believe that my dad and I saw Alice that night on that staircase. And yeah, so that was the moment where I was like, okay, the paranormal is real. This is legit. This is happening and everything I've been experiencing at home is also real. My dad does we still talk like literally to this day. I'm 30 years old. This happened 20 years ago at least. Maybe 21. Again, trying to remember the exact age I was. It was around 9, 10. Um, but we'll still talk about it to this day. And hold on, let me readjust my PJs. Little PJ spot. Readjust myself because my hip is seizing up. This is 30. So yeah, no, my dad and I will talk about it to this day and talk about how scary that was and that we both believe that it was something paranormal. He does believe in that he believes in that experience. He believes in the paranormal. He believes that our house is haunted, his house now, because I moved out of it because I'm grown up, but he still lives there. He, yeah, he's the only person in my immediate family. So the people in my household growing up, my mom, my dad, my brother, and myself. My mom and my brother are skeptics. They don't believe in the paranormal, but they're open to like hearing about it. Um, my dad believes, and he always has. And so my dad, that again, this is something I cover in the podcast that you guys are gonna see this week. But my dad is someone that I was able to talk to like about my paranormal experiences because he was having them as well. So we were able to like connect about or validate each other about what was happening like in our house again with this experience and all that, whereas, like, with my mom and my brother, it's just kinda like, "Oh, cool story," you know? Um, but yeah, um, I have not done an investigation side, I have tried. I'm still gonna keep trying. You best believe I would love to do an investigation in there. I have been inside as a kid. Because I used to do theater a lot, and whenever I did school plays, they actually were held at this theater, because I grew up in Oakville. So, yeah, I've been inside a bit. Actually, there was one time, I'm trying to remember, I might have been 12, I wanna say. I was 12 or 13. It was either my grade 7 or my grade 8 school play. Um, but I remember actually, I think it was grade 7, because 'cause I'm pretty sure I can remember the costume I was wearing, and it would have been Annie. Side note, but you guys get it. I was performing in this school play, and we were in the wings backstage, and I remember looking up, because there was a big staircase, because I guess it leads to the rafters. I remember looking up, and there was, something, like, I saw a shadow jump across the staircase, and I thought that was really weird. I didn't put 2 and 2 at this point. I had known that the theater was haunted, but it wasn't in my head because I was performing, um, and I didn't put it together like, "Oh, that maybe that was Alice too," because that means that something jumped over, because like, staircases, like, in an apartment building or something, they'll, like, spiral up and you can, like, look down. It was like that, um, and so looking up, seeing something jump across, I'm like, "That means something was on the top and jumped over," and it was n like, the kids don't go up there. As far as I know, the staff doesn't go up there, but I also don't know why the staff would be jumping over the staircase. Weird. My parents do not believe in, but my son and I do. I feel like, it's always like a mixture with, like, families and things like that. It's like, oh, some people believe in it, some people don't. Some people are, like, skeptics, or they're, like, open to it. Um, it is so cool to share with the family, isn't it? These shows are the only place I cannot talk about it because I have no one. These shows are the only place I can talk about it because I have no one who I can talk to the experiences I've had. Oh, well, I love hearing that though, because, like, this is a space where you guys can share your stories, and because I will always believe them, and there's a community out here that I've built, which is so cool, that also believes in your guys' stories too. And I think that's so special. And it's like a good little outlet for everyone, myself included. Um, but also over the years, I've kind of come to the realization that, some people are gonna believe my story, some people aren't, but I'll still tell it. I'll tell it to people who don't believe it, it's fine with me. But, yeah, you guys can always share your paranormal experiences here. You best believe that. We're almost at the end of this live stream, and I do have a few more stories of these haunted theaters, so I will share them quickly. Um So this one comes from another person from a forum, and they said, I've been told that a guy actually did die in a taxi just outside the doors of the theater a long time ago. So he's supposed to be hanging around. Two employees have said that at least three ghosts total, a woman, a kid, and a guy in a hat. The employees said that one was upstairs building the employee said that one was upstairs building marquee when they thought that they heard the other coming upstairs to check on the progress. So they said the other's name without looking and heard her respond all the way downstairs in concession. There was no one on the stairs. I like to bring up Theodore, quote unquote, and the other potential ghosts during training and tell them what ghosts sound or and tell them what ghost sounds like someone tripping periodically upstairs is actually just the ice machine. It's uncanny or a ghost. I've never seen or heard a ghost that I'm aware of, but just in case, I sometimes tell the darkness I don't have time for shenanigans while walking down the empty auditorium and out the exit. No harm either way. The next one comes from a former theater employee. So they say, I'm a former theater employee, and we definitely had a few issues over the 3.5 years I worked there. Most notably, once I was in the projection booth and the door to the stairs slammed shut. It was already shut when I entered. And I checked the footage because only I had a key and nobody entered from the bottom. Another time, another manager and I were walking some theaters at the end of the night and heard laughing. When we walked into the auditorium, it was entirely empty. Both of us heard it and checked under the screen and anywhere else someone could possibly hide. Also, we had smaller things like seeing shadow figures in the corner of our vision in certain theaters, etc. And the last story, this person says, I had two things happen while working at different theaters. Both were old theaters as well. One, I walked into my theater at night and I was the only one in the building with no lights on. The office is right when you enter, so you don't have to go too far. While sitting there, you would hear some of the strangest noises coming from the auditorium. I would never go investigate, though, because I just read this for the first time. I would never go investigate because I'm white and not that dumb. Is that correct? Did I read that right? I would never go investigate because even though I'm white, I'm not that dumb. Oh, okay. I see. I was like, I did not read that correctly the first time. I would never go investigate because even though I'm white, I'm not that dumb. Oh boy. The only theater I was working, I walked into the building to open for the day. I heard people talking through the walkies. Only problem with that is we only had two walkies and they were both currently sitting next to each other. Let's just say that wasn't reassuring. Da-da-da. Exactly, Randy. Yes. You said it. That's so true. Um, but yeah, that was the last theater story I have for you guys. Actually, I saved the walkie-talkie one to the last because I thought that was going to be the one that I like rambled on, but I totally forgot that I had the little not little. That was actually a big story of my dad and I's experience on the outside of a haunted theater. But yeah, what I was going to say about the walkie-talkies, because obviously, I mean, walkie-talkies can pick up things like if you're too close to maybe a work site that uses walkie-talkies or police or something like that, you can pick up frequencies from them. So walkie-talkies could sometimes be debunked, but I've had some weird experiences with walkie-talkies on two paranormal investigations in particular. And one of them, um, we thought because we were at the St. Thomas Psych Hospital, and we thought it could be the OPP station next door. We're like, okay, listen, the OPP's next door. Like the walkie-talkie just started fritzing out of nowhere. We were walking through a hallway, and it like did like a little the walkie-talkie sound like the I don't know, and and then something like talked through it, but we couldn't understand what it said. And that's when I jumped in. I was like, guys, OPP, like it's probably nothing because everyone looked so spooked. And um they were like, the weird thing about that was we were all on the same channel, and only one of the walkie-talkies that was sitting on a Ouija board actually that Kelly was holding, that walkie-talkie was the only one that went off and made the sound, and like the light came on and everything, but my walkie-talkie didn't, Jim's didn't. Um, yeah, like that was the only one that went off even though we were all on the same channel. So that was weird, and then we kept going, and then it happened again, I think. We ended up switching channels. We're like, "Okay, let's just for good measure, if we're on OPPs, let's switch it." The Ontario Provincial Police, if you're not from Ontario, I do apologize. It's our provincial police station. So we're like, "Okay, let's flip it." So we all flipped to a different channel, all on the same channel, but just a different one. And then, a different walkie-talkie did it. It was just, like, the same, like, and then, like, something came through, couldn't make it out, and yeah, it was weird. And then at the Stanley Barracks in Toronto, That one, I don't have an explanation for. It wasn't because with the St. Thomas Psych Hospital, it sounded like someone was talking through it, but with the Stanley Barracks, it was almost like a frequency or like some weird glitch, and it only happened in one room of the barracks, and we swapped out walkie-talkies and put one of the walkie-talkies in there, a different one, and then it started acting weird. It was a very strange experience. Could be logically explained, but I don't have an explanation for it. It was so weird. There was 4 of us there, and none of us could explain what the walkie-talkie was doing. It was so strange. I remember once picking up my son at his mom's apartment, a shadow figure run through the hallway. Their neighbor saw it, um, and looked at each other and left. Wait, you saw the shadow figure run through the hallway? Their neighbor saw it too. Oh, okay, sorry. I was I was breaking down the sentence different. That's crazy. Shadow figure, okay, something I've noticed too, I think there was one of the stories that we just talked about as well, where someone was like, "Oh, like other things like little like shadow figures or whatever." People always, I feel, and I do it too. I find myself doing it as well. Will like undermine shadow figures. Sometimes we'll be like, "Oh, yeah, it was just a shadow figure." Just a shadow figure. That's huge. Like seeing a figure, even if it's a shadow, like I know obviously a lot of us want to see like a figure that's looks like a human and then walks through a wall, like stereotypical like horror movie or whatever. But a shadow figure is a huge deal. That's wild. All the stories were so fun, weren't they? I love them. Before you leave, can you explain again about your podcast available here too, as well as Spotify? Yes, I can, Randy. Yeah, I know. I love the interaction too. You guys are the best. um, yes. So, podcast, my first podcast episode will be out this week. So, I'll also kind of run through this as well. So, schedule for here on this channel at Hauntingly Krista. We do our Haunting Hour live streams every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. EST. So you can catch it live with me and the rest of us in the chat and hang out and talk for an hour. They also will be available for replay. So if you do happen to miss one and you want to catch up with it, there's the live tab on my channel, and you can click on it and you can watch any of them at any of your convenience, and they're right there for you. So those are there for you guys, um, live and also for replay. And then also now I've been doing one video a week, um, and I've recently decided to do a podcast. So I'm kind of switching up the format of my one video a week. This video a week will be my Hauntingly Krista show. I'm branding it as such just because it's my show. I'm Hauntingly Krista. This is my show. It's also going to be super easy for you guys to find, like on Spotify. It will definitely be on Spotify just because that's the platform I'm going through for posting, is Spotify for creators. So I know for sure it will be on Spotify as the Hauntingly Krista show. I'm also going to try to get it onto Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Whatever, I'm looking into the other audio platforms that podcasts typically go on, and I'm going to see how I can get those on there. But it will definitely be on Spotify. You can search it up on any audio platform at the Hauntingly Krista show. It might not show up right now because I don't have my first episode up yet. That will be this week. Once it is up this week, you will be able to search it. I think you might be able to find it on Spotify right now because that's I set up the show through there, but I digress. It will be here as well on YouTube as a video. So it will be just a listening podcast on the audio platforms, but on YouTube there will be a video, as you see my face right now, my background. There will be a video portion of the podcast. So it'll be the same exact content, it just different places to listen. So if you guys want to watch it here on YouTube or listen to it here on YouTube, you can do so. Or if you're driving somewhere, you'll be able to listen to it like on Spotify, right? Okay. So you can definitely catch it here uh, on my channel at Hauntingly Krista. That's where it will live, the video version of it. In the description, when the first episode comes out, as well as every episode following, in the description, I will have the audio platforms linked so that it will take you guys directly to whichever audio platform you prefer from my YouTube video. So the best place to start is where you guys are right now, essentially. Make sure you're subscribed, have your post notifications on, because I haven't decided which day this week the podcast will go out. So if you have your post notifications on, you'll get notified when the episode goes up this week, if that makes any sense. And then from there, we'll see which audio platform it's going to be on. So yes, so I can see and hear the podcast on the subscribe channel. You can see and hear the podcast on the subscribe channel. So if you guys don't want to go to a different platform like Spotify or anything like that, or if you don't have it downloaded, nothing like that, you don't have to worry about it because you will see it right here. You guys are in the right place to consume that content as well. So basically everywhere, yeah. The only thing that's really changing with the podcast is because of the format and like how I'm recording it with the new microphone and everything like that. You guys will have just more options of different places to consume the show. So that's kind of what's replacing the videos that I do where I sit down and I talk to you guys about different like haunted stories or creepy things when I'm just like in my bedroom, or now with this background. The podcast is just kind of replacing that. So it's just going to be a longer format, more professional setting that I can put out because it has good quality, like audio and everything like that. I can pump out to all these other places to give you guys the most options possible, right? So that's the only thing that changes with that. There's nothing changing about the content in terms of we're always spooky all the time, you know. On top of that, you guys are just getting more content because the Haunting Like Krista show will come out here every single week. There will be a new episode every single week. So nothing changes with that. We've been 2 live streams a week and then also 1 video per week. That doesn't change. You guys get an additional video whenever I have paranormal investigations to post as well. So you will get the Hauntingly Krista Show podcast and a paranormal investigation when there is paranormal investigations to post. So it's not like 1 week you get paranormal investigations, the next Hauntingly Krista. So it's just more content, essentially. So more places everywhere to see me and more content. This is so perfect. Love your podcast as well. Yes, please. Yay! Loved live as well. Can you put spooky music on your podcast as background as you talk? I absolutely can. You know I will be. We have do you guys want to hear the little theme song? Actually, I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peeky. We have a little theme song. But yeah, there will definitely be some ambiance in the background. You guys know me. We're really setting the vibes. I love this background. I think it looks really cool. But I've been looking into some alternative backgrounds as well. So this might switch up not just for the live stream, but also the podcast. Or maybe I'll keep it for the live stream. Maybe I'll switch it for future podcast episodes. We'll see. I'm looking into other options. Maybe we'll switch it periodically. I don't know. But the vibes are they're spooky, they're creepy. Where did I put this dang theme song? uh Hold on. Do I still have it on here? I should. How far back am I going? I don't think it was that far back. Dang, Krista. Hold on. Hold please. Hold please. It's not further than this, is it? Maybe it is. Hold on. I know what I'm doing, apparently. No, I don't. Where the heck did it go? Hello? Yeah, I didn't think it was before that. Oh, please, Krista, organize yourself. Um, hello? Mm, mm, mm. I d I don't know where this went. What the heck? Oh, here it is. I went past it like a bazillion, gazillion times. This is our first of all, this is the cover art. Cute. And this is our little theme song. I don't know if you guys are gonna hear it that well, but you'll hear it in the podcast. Close your eyes, don't look behind. Hauntingly crystal, we'll guide you through the night. The hauntingly crystal show. And then we just have a few more O's, but yeah. It's hauntingly crystal show. Yeah. So that's coming very soon. I'm very excited. What else? Oh my gosh, we're 15 minutes past the end of this. I do sing. That's not me singing though. I do sing. Um I haven't sung it in a while. I was considering singing the theme song, but I was like, leave it to the professionals for now until I maybe get a little bit more training under my belt. It's so fun. I don't know. I was debating for a while what I wanted to do for at least the name of the show, but then I was like, it's gonna live on this YouTube channel and it's my show. So I was like, it's just the Haunting Like Krista show, you know? And then there will be guests. You guys, I have so many cool people to show you guys. They will be on the show. And we'll be talking all things spooky. It will mostly, I shouldn't say mostly, but I feel I've branded this podcast as like a place for me to talk to you guys. So it's a solo podcast. It just maybe sometimes we'll have like a lot of back-to-back guest episodes. Maybe sometimes we won't. I guess it just depends on like schedules and things like that. But you will definitely be hearing from some really, really cool people that have a lot of really cool and spooky things to say. And yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited. I've been trying to work on this podcast essentially, and like just different rebrands and ideas for it and things like that since it's probably been like almost a year and a half now. Like August 2024 was when I was like, I'm gonna start a podcast, and here we are. It's taken a while, but we are finally in the home stretch and ready to release this show. And I'm excited. And I'm excited that you guys are excited. And I love that you guys come here every single week. I seriously do. Again, I'm so sorry that I missed Thursday, but we are back in action and I will be back this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. for your second live stream this week. And it is so exciting. And yeah, so this week this is your first live stream. You'll get another live stream this week. You'll get the podcast this week, and you also might get a paranormal investigation this week. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast or this live stream, that's the only thing I have to get used to is not getting those mixed up. If you guys don't get a paranormal investigation this week, you'll get a paranormal investigation next week. So hold tight on that. Milton Town Hall is coming very, very soon. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. I'm excited to share Erica with you guys. She's super cool. And yeah. So with that, I haven't eaten dinner yet. So I'm going to sign off. And yeah, thank you, Jennifer. I'm glad I'm feeling better too. It was a rough couple days there. I was like, I do not feel good. Yes, have a good night. Have a good night, Jennifer, Mary, Randy. Who else is still in here? I'm not sure who's still in here. Mike, good night. Hontorium, good night. Did I miss anybody? Orange, good night. And I don't know who else is in here, but have a great night, everyone. Seriously, I will see you on Thursday for another live stream and more content coming soon. Have a good night. Stay safe, stay spooky, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. I will see you all very soon. Night, everyone.